Here we will discuss the Jacobi's method. This is another method that we can use for solving system of linear equations. Now think about if you are having set of linear equations in this form, a11 x11, where a11 is the coefficient of this x11 variable. Likewise, we will having a number of variables. Since we are having n number of variables, we will have at least n number of equations to obtain the solutions. And these are the constant terms associated with each of the equation. Therefore, if you are having system of linear equation, then if you need to use the Jacobi's method, here also we have to first of all transform these equations into the form of matrix. Once you transform this system of linear equations to the metric format, then we can have this as ax equals b, where a is a diagonal dominant matrix. Therefore, in here we have to pay the attention whether this matrix A is diagonally dominant or not. But in the previous calculations we did not have such condition, but here we will have to pay the attention whether this matrix is diagonally dominant. Therefore, if this matrix is diagonally dominant, then we can just use this Jacobi's method. If this matrix is not diagonally dominant, then what you can do is you can just interchange these uh, you can just interchange the place of these equations. Now think about if you just need to take this is equation number 2 into equation number 1, then you can at the very beginning you can do it. Therefore, but anyhow, this matrix A should be a diagonally dominant matrix. We'll see what is this diagonally dominant matrix. Therefore, it means that if you consider the first row, if this matrix A is diagonally dominant, then magnitude of A11 should be definitely greater than the summation of these magnitude of A1 I values. A1 I values. The I goes from 1 to n. So it is 2 to n. 2 to n. It means that if you consider this diagonal element, these are the diagonal elements. Therefore, if you first of all you can mark the diagonal elements, and if you the matrix would be diagonal dominant if you consider the first row, then the remaining values, the magnitude of the remaining values, sum of the magnitude of the remaining values should be less than this diagonal magnitude of the diagonal values. Therefore, in the second row, this A22 value, in the second row, it is the diagonal element, this A22 value, magnitude of this A22 value should be greater than the remaining values, or the additional of the magnitude of the remaining values, where I goes from 1 to n, but I cannot be equal to 2. It is because it is the diagonal element. Therefore, if this satisfies for all n number of rows, then such matrix is said to be a diagonal dominant matrix. Therefore, you have to pay the attention if you are using the Jacobi's method. The matrix A should be a diagonally dominant matrix. Diagonally dominant means the diagonal element the diagonal element of a given row should be greater than the summation of the remaining elements of the given row. Therefore, for the third row, if this is A33 is the diagonal element, then the magnitude of summation of the magnitude of the remaining elements should not exceed this diagonal value. This is how we are defining the diagonal dominant matrix. Therefore, if you are having a diagonally dominant matrix, then you can use this equation to obtain the value for x. This is an iterative method. Therefore, we will use some iterations, and you have to use this method to obtain the solutions for the variable if you are using the Jacobi's method. Here, this k plus 1 is the iteration number. Therefore, we can state them using the bracket. It is not the power. X ith k plus 1th iteration is given by A inverse of AII. It is the inverse of the diagonal value into the BI is the constant value associated with the ith equation minus summation m goes from 1 to n where m does not equals to I. It is just the this diagonal element that we have considered previously also. AIM into XM, here k is not the power, it is just the iteration number. Therefore, we'll see about this equation. No need to that much worry about the substitution. This will be really easy once you convert it to the simple using these coefficients and these given terms in an example. Okay, therefore, this is the equation used to obtain the solution using this Jacobi's method. And the special thing in the Jacobi method is this coefficient matrix should be a diagonal dominant matrix. Okay, now we will see for an example. Here they are asked to solve the following system of linear equations using this Jacobi's method. Here you can first of all what you have to do is you have to convert or you have to transform the system of linear equations into appropriate matrix format, which gives the form as Ax equals B. A contains the coefficients, X contains a vector contains variables, and B is a vector contains the constant terms. Now you can see in this coefficient matrix, you can see these are the diagonal elements. These are the diagonal elements in this example. All are same, but it is not a rule. Here you can see that if you consider the first row, 2 plus 1 is 3, 10 is greater than 3. Therefore, first row is okay for diagonal dominant. For the second row, diagonal element is 10. Then here we are considering the magnitude only, no need to worry about the sign. Therefore, 1 plus, here also we without contain sign, we will just take this 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Again, 2 is greater than 10. For the second row is also the condition satisfied. For the third row, diagonal element is 10. Here, without considering sign, we will take the magnitude. 2 plus 3, it is 5. Again, this diagonal element is greater than the summation of the other elements in the given row. Therefore, for the all three rows, the diagonally dominant condition satisfied. Therefore, we can say that this coefficient matrix is a diagonally dominant matrix. Therefore, now you can use this matrix to perform the furthermore calculation. Since this is diagonally dominant matrix, then you can use these equations to obtain the values for these unknown variables. Okay, if we are using this equation, then we'll see how we can use it to obtain values for x1, x2, and x3. Okay, if this is the equation, then first of all, here we have values for x1, x2, and x3. Here we will say this is for the x1 variable, therefore we will substitute I equals 1. Therefore, if you substitute I equals 1 in this equation, here what we will get is I equals 1 is x1 k plus 1. K is the iteration number, no need to worry about it. X1 equals A11 inverse. Here A11 is, I will write it here. Once you substitute the values, you will get X1 K plus 1 iteration. This equals to, once you substitute I equals 1, then here we will get I equals 1 A11 inverse into B1 minus sigma m goes from 1 to, here we are having 3 variables x1, x2, x3, therefore value of n would be 3, but m cannot be equal to 1. M cannot be equal to I means here I is 1. Then I is 1, then m into xm of the kth iteration. Here we are having the iteration number, not the power. Therefore, this is the equation once you substitute I equals 1. Since you are having I equals 1, now what you need to do is you have to identify these value of a11, b1 and these a1m values and xm values. For I equals 1, we will have this is the matrix you have obtained. A11 was a the matrix A was obtained as, I write it here, matrix A was 10, 2, 1, 1, 10, minus 1, minus 2, plus 3, and then value of B is now 9 minus 22 and plus 22. Therefore, these are the values obtained for A and B. Now, what you can do is you can use these values. Therefore, A11, it is the first diagonal element. First diagonal element is 10. 10 inverse means you can write it as 1 over 10. 10 inverse means A inverse means inverse can be written as 1 over A11. It's quite like this. A11 inverse can be written as 1 over A11. Using that concept, we can say this value is 1 over 10. And value of B1, it is the first value of B vector. Then value here is 9. And here you are asked to get summation from 1 to 3, but m cannot be equals 1. Therefore, what you have to do is you have to consider m equals 2 and m equals 3 only. Therefore, now what you have identified was this quantity should be A1m x2 xm k. Now we will substitute x equals 2 and m equals 2 and m equals 3 separately. Therefore, what we will get is A1 to m equals 2, then x2 k plus when m equals 3, a1 3 x3 k. Therefore, these are the values we are getting. Now we have to identify this a12 value and a13 value. A12 is the first row second value, it is 2. A13 is first row third column value, it is just 1. Therefore, once you use that concept, you can easily obtain the value for x1 k plus 1 equals 1 over 10 times 9 minus 2 times x2k minus x3k. But this is how we are using the equation, but rather than using this equation, there is a very simple method that we can obtain this equation. There is a very simple method that we can obtain this equation. If you see about this initial equation, what we had was 10 times x1 plus 2 times x2 plus x3 equals 9. We'll subject x1 using this equation. Now, if you isolate this x1, what you will get is 10 times x1. This is equal to 9 minus 2x2 minus x3. This is what we are having. But what we need to do is you have to obtain value for x1. Therefore, x1 can be, you have to divide both sides by this 10. Then this is now equals to 9 minus 2 times x2 minus x3. But what you have see that we have obtained using this equation, if you see what we have obtained, it is quite similar to this quantity. Now you can see x1 is now equals to 1 over 10, 9 minus 2 times x2 minus x3. Therefore, it will be the easiest method of obtaining this equation. Therefore, once you have this equation, then you have to place kth iteration here. This is the k, here also k, and here you have to replace it with k plus 1. Therefore, this is the easiest way of obtaining these equations rather than just going with the substitution. But if you are using the substitution, you will get the same answer. Then if you perform this calculation for I equals 2, then we will get this equation. But if you go through this is the equation we are obtaining, but if you go through the second equation, you can just have a try to subject this x2. Now, using the first equation, you are subjecting x1. Using second equation, you are subjecting x2. Using third equation, you will subjecting x3. Therefore, you can get a value for x2 using second equation. Once you use that, you will again end up with this same equation. Likewise, using I equals 1, I equals 2, and I equals 3, you have to obtain three separate equations, or else you can use the other method to obtain these three equations. Therefore, this can be said to be the hardest part, or the complex the calculation in the Jacobi's method. Hereafter, we have to use the iterative method. Therefore, now you are having three equations, and then you will use this iterative method. When you are using the Jacobi's method, for iterative methods, we will always consider the initial values will be equal to 0. Since we are having three variables x1, x2, x3, the zeroth iterative use the value as 0. Zeroth iterative use the value as 0. Therefore, what you can do is now you can insert these three equations, first equation, second equation, and third equation in the calculator, and then you can obtain the answers easily. When we are inserting these values, then I will just use some notations for the calculator. I will set a is the my x1 variable. A is my x1 variable. Letter B is my x2 variable, and letter C is my x3 variable. I will use these three values to identify x1, x2, and x3. Otherwise, we cannot insert these x1, x2, and x3 in the calculator as it is. Therefore, instead of these values, I will use the notations A, B, and C. Okay, now we have to insert these three equations in the calculator. Therefore, we will use the calculator. Now, here we do not need this equation sign. We just need the latter part of this equation only. We all know that for the value A, we get this we will get it from this equation. For value B, we will get it from this equation. For value C, we will get the answer from this equation. Therefore, I will insert this part. Here I will get 1 over 10 into, then I am having this as 9 minus, we do not need to insert the iteration number. Here we are having 2 times x2. 2 times x2 means it is minus 2 times, it is b. It is b. 2 minus 2 times b. Then this minus alpha, it is x3 is c. This is the first equation I have inserted. Therefore, I am using the colon notation to separate it. Likewise, I can insert the second equation also. It is 1 over 10 into, it is minus 22, and minus x1 instead is used for this letter A. For x3, we have used the letter C, and again semicolon, then 1 over 10. This has to be multiplied with this 22 plus 2 times x1 means 2 times A, then this minus 3 times x2, x2 means 3 times b. We have used b instead of this x2. Now these are the three equations. If you check it again, 1 over 10 times 9 minus 2b minus c is what we are having here. The second equation, 1 over 10 minus 22 minus a plus c. The third equation, 1 over 10 plus 22 is 22 plus 2 times a minus 3 times b. And now we'll set the calc button. And they ask us to give the value of b. First, here we can see b is now equal to 0. We have to set this as 0. Then they are asking value of c. Value of c is now again 0. And then they are asking value of a also. It is now also set to be 0. Therefore, these are the values now we are obtaining. Here we will obtain the value as 9 over 10. It is equal to 0.9. It is for the first equation. Then for the second equation, we got the value as minus 2.2. Then once you press another equal sign, then we will get plus 2.2. Then you can use these three values to obtain the values in the next iteration. Therefore, value of b is now you can set it as minus 2.2. This is the value you have obtained. Therefore, value of b is minus 2.2. Value of c is now equal to plus 2.2, and value of a is now equal to 0.9. Therefore, you can obtain value of a. First equation is now 1.12, and the next value is minus 2.07, and the third value is 3.04. You have finished the next iteration, and now we'll set these values for the third iteration. Okay, equals to, now the value obtained for b is minus 2.07, value obtained for c is 3.04, and value obtained for a was 1.12. Therefore, we can see the values obtained for first equation is 1.01, second equation is minus 2.008, and third equation it is just third equation it is just 3.045. Likewise, if you run this in iterative procedure, then you can get this table. Once you run these values in the table, you can see that now the convergence is appears. It means that if you see about these the k equals 5 and k equals 6, you are getting nearly same values. Therefore, we can terminate the calculation just by looking at the values. We can see the values are converging. Therefore, we can terminate the calculation at that point. Therefore, since we can see that these values are converged, therefore we can obtain the values for x1, x2, and x3 in this way. Value of x1 is now equal to 1, x2 is equal to minus 2, and value of x3 is equal to plus 3. And this is another example discussed for this Jacobi's method. Here also another set of equations were used. First of all, we have converted them into the matrix format, and then we have to check whether these are diagonally dominant or not. If you see about the first row, value is 6, 1 plus 1 is 2, therefore 6 is greater than 2. For the second row, again 4 is greater than 2. For the third row, 5 is greater than 2. Therefore, we can say that this is diagonally dominant matrix. Therefore, now you can use this matrix for the calculation. Likewise, previously, you have to obtain these equations by substituting I equals 1, I equals 2, and I equals 3. Therefore, or else you can use this first equation to subject x1, second equation to subject x2, third equations to subject x3. Therefore, using one of these two techniques, you can obtain the equations for x1, x2, and x3. Then you can insert them in the calculator like previously, and you can set the initial value of these initial values of the x1, x2, and x3 as 0, and then you can obtain the iterative value table in this form. Now you can see here, now the values are converging. Therefore, you can just keep it into the whole number. Therefore, you can say that the required solution is now equals x1 is 3, x2 is 1, and x3 is 1. Here, since I just need the values with an accuracy for the whole number, therefore that is why I have converted this into 3, 1, and 1. Otherwise, you can just take this answer as the final answer if you need. But anyhow, for each and every time we are not getting the whole answers, therefore there will be some decimals. Therefore, we can have this as the final answer, and this is just the numerical methods. Therefore, we are just having approximations. Now, even though you are using 3 or this value 2.9999, those are much more uh, closer values. Therefore, you can use this value, or else you can just round it to the whole value 3. Likewise, you can use the Jacobi's method, and there is one exercise for you, and you can just refer, you can just go through the use the Jacobi's method for this exercise. And thank you all for joining with this session.